One of the things that made Floyd Mayweather so successful, and one of the reasons why he was able to separate himself from his competition, was because Floyd knew which tool to bring to which job. In other words, he knew which style to use depending on which opponent he was facing. Now, during the build-up to Spence-Mikey Garcia fight, everybody said that Mikey Garcia had the higher boxing IQ, that Spence had to go in there and mow him down, that he could not box with Mikey Garcia. So Errol Spence wanted to show the world and all the critics that he can box, and that he did. He put on a masterful class of boxing, which didn't allow Mikey Garcia to win one round. But in doing that, he gained a lot of criticism for not being able to knock out Mikey Garcia, a smaller fighter who was coming up 2 weight classes. So this fight with Shawn Porter, he wanted to make a statement. He wanted to prove that he was still Errol Spence, the boogeyman. So he set out to knock out Shawn Porter. You know, he didn't use those boxing skills that we seen against Mikey Garcia, which could have worked in his favor.
And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance, and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime!
Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide, where we talking nothing but this boxing, man. What's good, fam? Hey, listen, man, first off, let me welcome everybody to the channel. And if you're new here, I want you to be here. So think about hitting that subscribe button as we stay knee deep into this boxing conversation, man. What a fight Saturday night, man. Errol Spence Jr. and Shawn Porter, man, I gotta say that has to be the fight of the year, man. Those guys put on a hellified performance. Both dudes showed a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of mental toughness. But you know, I've been keeping my ear to the street. I've been on social media, man, and I've been watching the criticism of Errol Spence Jr. A lot of people saying that, you know, he was exposed. That a lot of people think Shawn Porter won that fight. You know, a lot of people I talked to. A lot of my homies I talked to, they think Shawn Porter won that fight, man. In my opinion, Errol Spence, he fought Shawn Porter's fight. You know what I'm saying? The reason being is he wanted to prove to everybody that he was still the boogeyman, that he can go in there and punish Shawn Porter. Those was his words. Those are the things that Errol wanted to do. He wanted to go in there and punish Shawn Porter, man. Shawn Porter was ready, you know, like I've been telling you guys to the build up to this fight. Shawn Porter has been training since April. You know, his camp started in April. You understand what I'm saying? Shawn Porter had to prepare not only physically, but he had to prepare mentally, because, you know, he listened to everybody saying that Errol Spence is going to go in there and punish him. He's going to demolish him. That it's just going to be a total whitewash. You understand what I'm saying? And I think Kenny Porter, his dad being in his corner, was extra motivation that, you know, when things got tough, you know, he knew that he could not give up, because he knew he could not turn around and face Kenny Porter had he did. Now, Errol Spence Jr., he showed in the Mikey Garcia fight, he showed that he can box. You know, and at the beginning of this video, I was talking about Floyd Mayweather and how, you know, he was able to adapt to different fighters based on their fighting style. So he knew what style to fight a particular fighter. And Errol Spence's heart, man, you know, he got a lot of heart, and he didn't want to take a backward step. So he went out there and went toe to toe with Shawn Porter. You know, had he boxed, you know, like he did Mikey Garcia, I think he could have made an easier fight for himself. I think, you know, had he worked off his jab, you know, used more movement, lateral movement, boxed off the back foot a little bit more, I think he would have had an easier time with Shawn Porter. You understand what I'm saying? But Errol Spence, he wanted to show that he was the same Errol Spence of old, that he was going to go in there and punish Shawn Porter. And therefore, it created a harder fight than it necessarily had to be, in my opinion. You understand what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me of Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran, the first fight, where Sugar Ray, he went in there and wanted to go toe to toe with Duran because of everybody saying how tough Duran was. There was some bad blood, on the build up to the fight. Duran had said things about his wife and things about his personal life that Sugar Ray did not necessarily, he ain't dig it. And although it was a good solid fight, a good solid performance by Ray Leonard, he played into Duran's hands. He played right into his hands, and therefore he lost that first fight. You understand what I'm saying? But the second fight, he knew where he went wrong in the first fight. He knew that, him trying to stand his ground, going toe to toe, that wasn't his game. That was not going to be his best chance, best path to victory. So in the second fight, he came out moving around, getting out of the way of Duran's power shots, using a lot of movement, staying on the back foot, coming in when he needed to, and getting out when he had to. You understand what I'm saying? Therefore, he produced the no mas, because the Roberto Duran had no answers for what Sugar Ray Leonard was doing, man. And that kind of reminds me of this fight with Errol Spence and Porter. I think had Errol Spence went in there and boxed, he could have made this fight a lot easier, man. I really hope that, his heart, because Errol Spence got a lot of heart, man. He got a lot of heart. I really hope his heart does not be his downfall. I really hope that his heart does not stop him from achieving the best that he can achieve, because Errol Spence has the total package. Errol Spence can box brilliantly. We seen that in the Mikey Garcia fight. We seen it in a little bit of it in the Kell Brook fight. Errol Spence has a little bit of it all, man. And the other night against Shawn Porter, he did not use, the tools that were necessary to make this fight easier for himself. You understand what I'm saying? Although he put on a good performance, a good solid performance, I legitimately think that Errol Spence won that fight. But I do think it was extremely close. You know what I'm saying? The knockdown, a lot of people saying the knockdown is what separated, what did it for him. No, that is not it, because two judges had it 116 to 111. So the knockdown had no way on the outcome of that fight, man. However, I do think the knockdown, helped him out. You know what I'm saying? Gave him the confidence to come out in those last two rounds and to turn it up a gear, because he figured Shawn was hurt and he wanted to press the issue and get him out of there. But credit to Shawn Porter, man. Shawn Porter, he showed his ass. In my videos leading up to this fight, I told you all that Shawn Porter was not to be slept on. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all in videos to put some respect on Shawn Porter's name, because people were out here just dogging Shawn Porter, man. Just thinking that Errol Spence was just gonna walk all over Shawn Porter, man, and that's not the case. You understand what I'm saying? What we learned from this fight is that although Errol Spence I do think he's still the man to beat in the welterweight division. He was able to unify the title. I see Danny Garcia. He got brave. He's seen, he's seen the way Earl was fighting, and he said to himself, "Oh, I can beat this guy." If I see him getting buzzed by Shawn Porter, who Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia both said Shawn Porter, his punch ain't really nothing special. You know what I'm saying? How will Errol Spence stand up to my punch? This is what Danny Garcia's thinking. So Danny Garcia decided right on the spot to go up in the ring, you know what I'm saying, and try to, stake his claim, for the two titles, man. And, Errol Spence, I think if he went into a fight with Danny Garcia the way he went into a fight with Shawn Porter, he would make that fight much harder than it needed to be, man. Danny Garcia said, when he was asked by the girl Kate from PBC, what made you do that? He said, I was just looking at the fight, and I just decided this right now, man. I see that Errol Spence likes to bang. I like to bang, and, he never faced a guy with punching power like I have. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that Danny Garcia believes that he can hurt Errol Spence, and I wouldn't tell Errol Spence to go in there and bang with Danny Garcia. Not that he couldn't defeat him, but why make things harder, man? Floyd didn't make things harder for himself, man. He did things that he knew would win him the fight, regardless of what anybody thinks. You understand what I'm saying? Errol Spence is still young, man, and he's he listens to what everybody says. He said it plenty of times. He watches everybody's videos, and he don't want the criticism. You understand what I'm saying? But in order for him to be to separate himself from the rest of these fighters at 147, he's going to need to bring the tools for the specific job that he needs. And if that calls for boxing on the back foot, with using a lot of movement, then I think Errol Spence needs to do that, man. It doesn't make him less of a man to use his boxing skills, man. It didn't make Floyd less of a man. It didn't make, a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard less of a man. And it won't make Errol Spence less of a man if he goes in there and uses movement, which we all know he can do. But I give Shawn Porter a hell of a credit. He showed a lot of heart. He was able to rise to the occasion, man. I think he was able to get up for this fight like never before. This was Shawn Porter's best performance, man. He looked did spectacular. You understand? And I do think a rematch is warranted. I don't think it'll happen right away, but somewhere down the line, I do think these two men will meet again. Terrence Crawford, he posted some subliminal message to Errol Spence, basically saying that he was food. He was food, and I do think Errol's reputation will take some hits for this, because people are already saying he was exposed, that he can't beat this guy, he can't beat that guy. You understand what I'm saying? Errol stated that he didn't have a nutritionist, he didn't do no strength and conditioning. I believe that for the next camp, no matter who it will be, Errol Spence will change some things up, man, and we will see a different Errol Spence Jr. I think he has all the tools and all the abilities to separate himself from the other welterweights. I still think it's him and Crawford, for the top of the division, man. He just let all the politics, all the naysayers, all the criticism affect how he went out there and fought, in my opinion, and thus he had a less than stellar performance. But I do think, he won the fight fair and square. I do think he made it tougher than he had to make it. But that's all I got, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. You can catch me on Twitter. You can catch me on Instagram at Big Faces Worldwide, all one word. But in the meantime and in between time, stay blessed and keep on supporting this sport that we love called boxing. Peace. I'll holler back.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.